testimony from the one woman whose DNA was found at the scene of Scott Brooks' murder. In an interview with investigators, she said her former lover confessed to the crime. Our Michael Warwick live outside the courthouse tonight. Michael, this was a critical witness for prosecutors.
Absolutely. You could argue much of the prosecution's case hinges on today's testimony, but it is equally important to the defense, who repeatedly today tried to discredit that witness and her memory. Court rules prevent us from recording that woman on the witness stand, but the jury saw her interrogation video with CNPD where she tells detectives Terry Connor told her he'd committed the city's 104th homicide in 2019. However, almost 6 years later, that witness said today she doesn't remember that conversation. That woman would later learn the murder in question was the high-profile killing of Scott Brooks as he opened up his sandwich shop on a December morning. Today's witness had a relationship with Connor around the time of the killing, she testified. But she also says Connor asked her to move bullets and other ammunition away from his grandmother's home in NoDa and store it at her place in Rock Hill. But that woman could not say whether that was before or after the Brooks murder. DNA analysts testified yesterday that her DNA was on one of the shell casings at the scene of the Brooks murder. She denied today having anything to do with that crime or knowledge of its motive. Today's testimony, again, was largely focused on Terry Connor and his alleged involvement and not related to his co-defendant, Stephen Staples. We know tomorrow we are certainly expecting, prosecutors say, to hear from cell phone analysts that will put those two defendants, they say, at the scene of that crime. We're live outside the courthouse. Michael Warwick, WBTV, on your side.
Prosecutors still laying out their case. Michael, thank you. And of course, follow along with our continuing coverage of the trial on the WBTV News app or wherever you stream us.